Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another wonderful round with Slipstream Racing. We've officially gotten the new cars underway, folks, and we're bound to have a wonderful time and a great season, this being season 11 of the Slipstream Racing family. And this week, we've got a treat for you. We're headed to a track that we haven't been to since the pandemic in some Formula One cars, although it's home to some F1 racing, MotoGP racing, as well as many other series due to its Grade 1 status. Hopefully, we'll be returning in 2027. Based on recent announcements. Looking forward to that. We're headed to none other than the Atlantic roller coaster that is Portimao, located in Portugal. Next up will be in Brazil, the Autodromo Jose Carlos Pace. Silverstone, Las Vegas, Abu Dhabi, Qatar, Indy GP, Mugello, one of my favorites. Assetto Corsa, Portimao, the Jeddah Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, and rounding things out at Suzuka for round 12 with 100% race distance. We do have Thanksgiving break coming up, Christmas break and New Year's in consideration, so be on the lookout for those breaks in the stream, but we're looking pretty good for a hot and heavy season so far. Drivers are just out there toting around, getting their out laps underway. In just a few moments time, we'll head to the live screen so we can see what they're all up to this season. New fastest laps getting set by some of the drivers, so let's get over and see what they're all up to. Cody Lawrence doing Cody Lawrence things, tops the charts with a 1:16.277. Anand Trivedi in second place, just 7/10ths back. Moises in third place, Ryan Earl in fourth place, and it looks like Jaden Neal is going to be disqualified from the session due to teleporting back to pit lane. Remember that we do have some realistic rules in place using the real penalty application, so any sort of teleportation back to pits or to your garage will result in a disqualification from the session should you get caught out in the kitty litter. Should you get caught out on track, you will be sent back to the garage, but at the detriment of your session's result. Looking at the tire, Massey is also disqualified for teleporting back to pit lane. Unfortunate circumstances for them there. Twisted Jack with a little bit of a wiggle coming out of turn 6, but looking pretty apt through turn 7. And that'll be the end of Twisted Jack run. 1:18.249 set by this man right here, Colin Edwards, driving the number 23. As he starts his new lap, coming around turn 4 now, has a big tank slapper and can't control it. He'll be caught out in the kitty litter. Can he get the car rolling again, or is he also beached like a whale? No, he's getting the car rolling once more, just barely, though, able to get the traction underneath him. 14 minutes remaining in the session. He has plenty of time left to go out there and do some more laps. Going a little wide at Lagos is Twisted Jack. That'll be turn number 3. Trying to generate some heat in the tires before he gets another flyer in, 14 seconds off the pace currently, but I imagine he'll be quite a bit faster as Twisted Jack typically is. DRS zones marked in blue on the screen to the right hand side. Sector lines marked in green and red. Red being the start finish straight on the lap guide on the right hand side of your screen, folks. Looking at Ryan Earl trying to do his best to come around the back straightaway. He's improving his personal time, but nope, purple sectors to be found, but it's still good enough for second place. A 1:16.626 for Ryan Earl, right behind Cody Lawrence. Pulling up the live timing now to keep an eye on the driver's times. Cody Lawrence finding even bigger improvements on this lap, but yields there. 1:15.767 will be the new pole position time to be beaten. He's the only driver into the 1:15s currently. Yields after getting down towards turn one to regenerate as much energy as possible. Pete Rader in a familiar livery, as always. Great to see some familiar names back, and great to see some new names in the track as well. Anand Trivedi, a newcomer to the last part of season 10.5. Moises, a newcomer to this championship. Lucas, also new to the championship, and I think Massey is as well, or returning victims as you were. Ryan Earl, 8/10 back from pole position. Anand Trivedi, 9/10 back from pole. Moises is 1 second off the good. Pete Rader, 1.6 back. Trent H, 2.3. Colin Edwards, 2.4. Lucas, 2.6. Twisted Jack, 2.7. James Shorter, 8.7. I did say Twisted Jack was going to go a little bit faster, and he did. His new time, a 1:18.552. Everybody driving the C4 compound tires for this event. You can tell by the red walls, everybody is using the soft compound tires to get their fastest laps in. Moises is now disqualified from the session for teleporting back to pit lane. Ryan Earl with a purple sector one as they come out of what I believe is turn 4 and into Samsung next. That is Samsung, but that's actually turn 8, and threading the needle, Trent H comes right through a pair of Formula cars that are caught on track, and he splits the difference. A little bit of a lockup going into Tour VIP. Shorter disqualified for teleporting back to pit lane. A lot of disqualifications from the session due to teleportation. And I wonder if that has to do with the gravel traps here at Portimao. Hopefully we don't have any DNFs throughout the stint. And you see the gravel traps close to the wall. This is an FIA grade 1 circuit, so we will have walls littered with gravel traps to catch the drivers before they get too far into things. Looking at Trent H now, but what about Ryan Earl and their time? 1:16.576. Good enough for second place still. And then Trevidi, the driver in third position, gets to the line. Do they find any improvement, or was this an installation lap? It is an improvement. 1:16.397 for Anand Trivedi. Can't quite break the barrier of those 1:15s that Cody Lawrence is running currently, but is darn trying his best. Pit lane practice for Cameron Ketchen as he comes down into pit lane with 6 minutes and 30 seconds left to go in the qualifying session. Pete Rader 1:16.887. And the times get ever closer up at the front of the grid, barring Cody Lawrence's 1:15. It looks like we have 1, 2, 3, 4 drivers into the 1:16s. Everybody else just outside in the 1:17, 1:18 range. One thing that I love here about Slipstream Racing is that you're going to have a battle no matter where you fall in this grid of drivers. Whether you're fast and furious like Cody Lawrence, or if you're just off the mark like Anand Trivedi and Ryan Earl are, or even if you're 1 or 2 seconds off the alien pace, you're still in for a great battle here with Slipstream Racing. Heck, I bet even if I got behind the wheel of these cars, I'd have a battle with someone. And I'm slow. Especially driving a Formula car. Colin Edwards, not very slow, 2.5 off the alien pace that has been set by Cody Lawrence. I think we could talk about the championship standings of season 10.5 and where everybody ended up landing. Cody Lawrence was the driver in first place for a majority of the events, taking second place finishes at Red Bull and at Monza. Pete Rader came in second place with 118 points. Jaden Neal closely behind with 108 points in third. Ryan Earl came home with fourth position. And is that Anand Trivedi in fifth place? That is. Congratulations to Anand, who only ran part of that season even. Twisted Jack came home in 6th place. Trent H came home in 7th. James Shorter in 8th. Matt Chevry in 9th. Colin Edwards in 10th. Cody Fowers in 11th. Jake DeShong in 12th. John Hokie in 13th. Alan Toast in 14th. And Spunf in 15th. Season 10.5 was a great time had by all. If you missed out, make sure you look back to the VODs and check them out. Don't forget to like and subscribe the videos. Helps out the analytics a lot, helps the channel grow more and more, and helps the championship grow more and more as we try to get fuller and fuller grids lined up for Season 11. I believe registration is still open, but there is a waiting list to get in because of the full grid that we're facing right now. So, barring any shortage of drivers, you'll find your way through and through. Trent H coming through corners number 1 and 2. Now through 3, Lagos. He's a little off kilter and sips a wheel off into the gravel trap. And that'll end his charge, and he's going to let Cody Lawrence right on through. There is Cody. Colin Edwards, the driver, in 7th place. We saw him pit just a little while ago. 2 minutes left on the clock for the drivers to do their hot laps. Colin Edwards' new fastest lap, 1:17.999, breaks down the door just barely of the 1:17 mark. And that'll end his charge as he teleports to pit lane. Twisted Jack still out there trying to pull a rabbit out of his hat. Getting set up out of the final corner now. Knows he has this one plus one more potentially. Ryan Earl potentially going fastest right now through Sector 1. Keep an eye on the Earl man as he comes down into turn 7, setting things up for turn 8. Has a bit of a wiggle of oversteer, but does that mean he's thrown away this lap? I don't think so. Just half a tenth in the purple for Sector 1 through Sector 2. He's gained on his personal best by 0.3 of a second. Coming down into the final corner now. This is where you got to be really brave to get on the throttle fast and early and push as hard as you can. Pedal to the metal all the way to the floorboard, to the firewall, and drag yourself down to the checkered line. That will be an improvement. 1:16.377, just barely in front of an Trevini by just 0.2 of a second. And that will conclude things for Ryan Earl's chances here tonight. Another Trevini just bumped off of the front row by Ryan Earl on that previous lap, trying to see if he can go faster. Cody Lawrence with a big lockup coming into corner number 3, I believe. I believe we're going to be racing for 42 laps here around Portimao, so expect the race to last about an hour long. These drivers are not in for a sprint race. Anand Trevini with a 1:16.234 at the very end of the qualifying session, just nips away at Ryan Earl's time by 1/10 and is able to find the front row of the grid. Cody Lawrence back into pit lane to conclude the session. Cody Lawrence in P1, Anand Trivedi in P2, Ryan Earl in third, Moises in P4, Pete Rader in fifth, Trent H in sixth, Colin Edwards in seventh, Lucas in eighth, Twisted Jack in ninth, James Shorter in 10th, Jake DeShong will be in 11th, Jaden Neal in 12th, Cameron Ketchen in 13th, and Massey in 14th. That'll round out the 14 participants here tonight for the Slipstream Racing Grid. And we're looking forward to seeing much more of this grid get filled up with more and more drivers as the championship goes along and as we gain more traction. Amazing that we've grown so much up until this point. I remember just a few seasons ago racing or driving, watching Slipstream Racing, and only having down to 4 participants some nights, and now up to 14, 15 participants. It is absolutely phenomenal to watch this grid of drivers grow and the skill of the drivers improve time and time again. Big shout out to Cody Fowers, the organizer of the Slipstream Racing organization, for putting in the hard work and getting all these drivers organized and put together for an event like this. I'm your host, Sagar Bakshi, aka The Real High. I'm driving the Aston Martin DBX9 safety car. Lexus. As my dog gets into some trash, I apologize. 1:15.698 is your pole sitting time. About a half a second back is Anand Trivedi, then Ryan Earl, Moises, Rader, Trent H, Edwards, Lucas, Twisted Jack, and Shorter will round out your top 10. Just waiting for the session to go ahead and tick over. Then we will be ready for the red lights to come on and the race to begin. But until then, let's talk about the track that is known as Portimao, or as you may know it, the El Algarve circuit. We have a track length of 2.891 miles, founded in October of 2008. We're located in Portimao, Algarve region of southern Portugal. 15 corners, 9 to the right, 6 to the left, with an elevation change around 108 feet. And then Trivedi on that front row with Cody Lawrence for the standing start here tonight. And you can see the tire compound choices by most of the drivers on the front row are going to be the medium compound tires. Trying to go long into their stints. Facundo Moises, the Argentinian, driving the Red Bull racing car. Pete Rader, the Jumpman Tar Heels F1 team, driving the number 23. Trent H, the number 63 Petronas car. Colin Edwards driving his Grey Wolf racing machine. Lucas, the Argentine, coming in the number 43. Badgers is the number 7, though. Badgers is the number 43, shown as the number 7. Twisted Jack driving the 55. James Shorter in the number 10. And we're getting ready for the red lights to become illuminated here in just a few moments' time. Green, 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 away we go. And there was a good start for Cody Lawrence, but a poorly start for Anand Trivedi further back, and I think he's tumbled down the order at least one position as Earl takes away P2 from him. P. Rader in 4th place. Moises Oh, Ryan Earl gets a penalty, a drive-through for jumping the start. So he'll have to serve that within the next 3 laps or so. So Anuntrividi should find his way by. Pete Rader just in front of Moises right now, the number 22 vehicle. Driving the Red Bull Racing number 22. Jay Neal and Lucas inverting their position. Jay Neal working his way from the back of the grid and challenging forward after during the qualifying. He had to warp to pit lane, unfortunately. James Shorter off in the kitty litter towards the backside of the racetrack. Has a lot of work to do to catch back up. Cameron Ketchen chasing down Massey right now. Coming out of the final corner for the first time of asking. Lap 1 of 44 underway. Cameron Ketchen having a better drive coming out of the fast right-hander. Will get the move done, headed down and towards turn 1. Very easily nip and tuck maneuver there. Let's look at Jaden Neal as he challenges Colton Edwards. Pete Rader loses the position to Moises. Does he go down the inside line at corner number 4 at 5? He does make the move stick. Jaden Neal with a bit of a lockup to boot, though. Will be under a lot of pressure from Colin Edwards looking further back. Looking forward now at Pete Rader, who's challenging forward. And Moises ahead. Trent H attacking from behind currently. Let's see if we can go on board with Trent H for a few moments and watch him while he is on the attack. Looking for Jaden Neal also on the attack from behind. Coming through the penultimate corner now and into the final corner. It's Linus Stern, nose to tail. I haven't seen DRS become activated. There goes Ryan Earl down pit road to serve his drive-through penalty. Expect to see him come out towards the back of the pack. And worse for wear, he gets a 5-second penalty for also speeding in pit lane. Coming through Lagos. It's all Linus Stern for the driver's DRS. Looks like it is become activated. Ryan Earl serves his drive-through penalty, but still has the 5-second penalty attached to his name for speeding down pit road. And there goes Pete Rader off at corner number 5. Massey disqualified for teleporting to pit road. Coming into Samsung. Jay Neal is looking pretty big in that rear view mirror behind currently. Wanting to attack sooner rather than later so he can challenge forward at some of the more points paying positions. Looks at the inside line, tries to sell a dummy, but can't quite do it to Trent H. He won't be sold this late in the evening. You have to wake up a little bit early in the morning to sell Trent H a dummy now. And that'll be a pit stop for Jaden Neal very early on in this stint. Only 4 laps in. And now that is a lot of overspeed from Trent H with the helping hand of the drag reduction system, the rear wing being opened. Jaden Neal actually drive-through penalty, and that was now served. Now he has to do all that work all over again. James Shorter getting passed by Ryan Earl, who had that drive-through penalty and the 5-second penalty to boot now. 10 seconds back from Cameron Ketchen currently. And Ketchen gets by Lucas, who's off at turn 8, it looks like. Rejoins the racetrack and crosses it at a 90-degree angle, but able to get going again. He's got Twisted Jack and Jade and Neil trying to make their way through now at turn 11. Personal fastest laps being set by Pete Rader and Trent H on that last time around. Jade Neal closing on the rear wing and gearbox of Twisted Jack, the Williams Canadian driver. Those are the inside line on the Alpine at corner number 1. Gets the move done and dusted, and Lucas spins out there. Jaden Neal finds his way through at corner number 3, Lagos, but at corner number 4, he's trying to snap back. Twisted Jack can't find the overlap to make that one work. It'll be Jaden Neal up into P10, Twisted Jack in P11. Looking forward at the battle between Trent H and Pete Rader. This one's been a little bit more calm, cool, and collected. Trent sitting within 1 second of the driver in front of him, but not going for a move just yet. He will get some overspeed, slipstream, and the helping hand of the drag reduction system coming out of the final corner. Lap 6 of 44 now underway. Trent H with another fast lap under his belt, 120.488 on the medium compound tires. Around 0.3 faster than Pete Rader was that last time around. And an incident for Cameron Ketchen coming out of the final corner as he's caught in the runoff area at the end of corner number 15. And is Cameron Ketchen stuck there? Cameron Ketchen is unfortunately stuck against the wall currently. He will have to warp to pit lane. James Shorter caught himself out at, where is this, corner number 4, the entrance of 4. Very odd place to get stuck. Gets passed up by Lucas now. Now back. Facundo goes off. Oh no. I'll send him down in towards P8. Wish you could get a replay of that as I was looking at some technical issues. Hopefully you've been hearing me for the past half hour as it looked like my mic wasn't picking up anything. And Facundo heads down towards pit road. James Shorter with a disqualification for teleportation. Unfortunately, that will be the end of his race. Colin Edwards, last lap around, was a 121.1 compared to the 121.3 of Pete Rader. He is gaining a little bit of time in ground. It's not as quick as I think he would like it to be. Twisted Jack, also in pit road, gets around Facundo Moises, the number 22 driver. .0, 121.3 for the battling duo for the third place podium position. Remember, Anand Trivedi is in 5th place and on a different strategy. He's trying to close down the gap to Cody Lawrence ahead. Luca's hopping on the C4 compound to try to make it to the end of this event. As most drivers are into the 121s, Cody Lawrence last lap being a 125. 120.5 to clarify. Another Trivedi into the 120.6s. But I don't think that undercut strategy is working out in his favor as we approach the halfway point of the race. So it looks like some drivers will be able to make it on a single stop while one Trivedi is on the 2-stop strategy. I don't know what happened to my mic, the help inspector. Looked like it just cut out from OBS for a little while, and all of a sudden it's back. I don't know how long it had cut out for, but apparently I touched something or moved something that shouldn't have been moved. Potentially a USB issue. My Stream Decks are also not working right now, so everything has to be done manually, and that's always fun. But back to the racing, lap 20 of 44 becoming underway currently. It's all up to this man, the track monster of Cody Lawrence. Not only is he a track monster in his livery, he's a track monster on the racetrack as well. Commanding lead, 22.5 seconds. The sound quality is messed up. Stand by. Let's try that now. How's the sound quality now? Mic check, 1 2 1 2. Mic check as Cody Lawrence, the track monster, comes down pit road. Thank you very much for letting me know, the health inspector. Appreciate it. Apologies for any disturbances in the stream. Colin Edwards gets a penalty for speeding in pit lane. Ouch, that's really going to hurt his chances to catch up to Pete Rader, who was in third place. Anand Trivedi promotes himself up into third behind Cody Lawrence by only 3.1 seconds now. The undercut strategy almost working out in his favor had he had not had some battles with some drivers that were off sequence from him. He could have potentially made it. Cody Lawrence going for the additional lap now on this set of tires. He is on the C2 compound, expecting to make it to the very end. He does have Trent H, who's in front of him, still running on that C3, the medium compound tires, and trying to make it to the halfway point to make this a single stop event. Trent comes down pit road on the 21st time of asking. He finally comes down pit road. Anand Trivedi into the 119s right now. Perhaps smells a little bit of blood in the water. Can see Cody Lawrence in front of him. Knows he has to get the hurry up on sooner rather than later. Here is going to be an epic battle between Jaden Neal and Ryan Earl coming down in towards corner number 1. Jaden Neal and the Apex GP team drifts it through corner number 3 of Lagos with a big lockup, and unfortunately Ryan Earl is able to get that position back. Oh, and that'll be the end of the race for Jaden Neal, unfortunately taking a DNF. Twisted Jack and Lucas should find themselves promoted into those higher positions. Now, looking at the pit stop strategy, Ryan Earl has taken one pit stop to actually get services in his Williams, number 55, but has driven through pit lane as well to serve a penalty. Everybody else has taken one stop already, so this is the cycle we'd expect the drivers to stay in, except for Anand Trivedi, who's on the C3 compound currently. Everybody else on the C2, Twisted Jack on the C3, Lucas onto the C4 compound. Progress made. Cody Lawrence with 0. Trivedi with 0. Trent H with 3 gains. Colin Edwards with 3 gains. Pete Rader, right where he started this event. Ryan Earl is down 3 after the drive-through penalty. Twisted Jack up 2. Lucas, right where he started the event. Jaden Neal up 3. Ryan Earl on the brink of traction, pushing as hard as he can, trying to gain those positions back. 119.856 for Ryan Earl that last lap around. Shows you how fast that Ryan Earl is. Had he not had that drive-through penalty, definitely could have been battling with Cody Lawrence at the front of the grid. .118.790 for Cody Lawrence. That will be the new fast lap of his. Now, Pete Rader doesn't need to do this on track. He will inherit P4 if this is how the race would finish, because of the penalty that Colin Edwards has for speeding in the pits. But racing drivers will go racing any day of the week. Looking like a pretty quiet halfway point of the session so far. The drivers all staying pretty respectful and gaining a lot of composure currently. All drivers running about where they're supposed to be with their lap times. 120.6, 120.3, 120.7 for 3, 4, and 5 currently. So maybe Colin Edwards is out of position, potentially driving a little bit faster, knowing that he has that penalty attached to him, trying to catch back up to Trent H. Another Trividi has fallen back to Cody Lawrence. Now 8 seconds the gap. But Trividi has done a great job running this race right now and keeping up with a guy like Cody Lawrence out in P1. He will have to come in for another stop, I could only imagine, as he's been burning up the rubber on the medium compound tires that he has had on for quite some time now. He's been on these tires for 14 laps currently. Versus Cody Lawrence, who's got 7 laps fresher tires. Pretty much the entire grid electing to take the C2 compound, barring Twisted Jack and Lucas. Let's head over to Colin Edwards' point of view, because he's within 4/10 back from Trent H. Coming out of the final corner, DRS will be engaged, and I believe the overspeed will be enough to get him by at corner number 1. Now here's where the hard work begins. Colin Edwards and the Grey Wolf Racing Team needs to pull out a 10-second gap to Trent H to maintain P3. He's only got 17 laps remaining to do it. He's basically got to pull out a second a lap on Trent H. Can he perform? Can he pull it off? Trividi down pit road on lap 28. And he's taking a second stop and out. Anand Trividi has a lot of work to do with just 16 laps remaining in this event. Elects to go onto the C2 compound. I'm not sure that was the right choice, but we'll take a look at his drive as he's right behind Pete Rader. Driver in 5th position right now is Anand Trivedi. Take a look at Trent H coming out of the final corner within 3/10 of Colin Edwards. He might have the overspeed this time around to get by Colin Edwards at corner number 1. They are going to go alongside coming down the straightaway. Trent H applies the brakes and gets in front of Colin Edwards. Trivedi has to do the same now, but now doesn't have the DRS, stuck in behind at corner number 3 of Lagos, behind Pete Rader. DRS opens between 4 and 5. Trivedi applies the brakes, the DRS flap closes, and Pete Rader might get the over-under done as Trivedi goes a little bit wide there. And please don't go side by side into Samsung. Trivedi backs out of it. As the track narrows at Samsung, the track gets tighter and tighter. Only one racing line up here at the top of the hill, turn 11. The beautiful natural elevation changes here at the Algarve circuit allow for this beautiful battle to take place. Trivedi with the overspeed now goes to the outside line. Rader tries to cover off the inside, but it can't do enough there. Trivedi in the Formula Legends team walks right on by. Again, more hard work for Trivedi right now. 1.5 back from Colin Edwards. 14 laps remaining for him to get 2 overtakes done to get back to where he once was. Top 6 all running the same compound of tires currently. And then Trividi with the freshest of the sets coming in just one lap ago. And it doesn't look like he's gaining enough time on Colin Edwards. It was 1.5 just a lap ago, and now it's only 1.2. He's definitely faster through turns 3 and 4. That's not really where you can make overtaking moves happen. Perhaps turn 1 is the best overtaking opportunity for these guys. And that's where all of them have been taking place. A little kiss of the kitty litter. Coming out of turn 9, now into Portimao, turn number 10. Off in the distance, you can see the Atlantic Ocean from the grandstands here in Portugal. Will this be an Trevidi's resurgence back up into P3? Gets by Colin Edwards on that time of asking, running about 1.3 seconds faster that lap. And again, more hard work for an Trividi running the two-stop strategy. Now it's to get by Trent H next. Trividi close to Trent H's rear end and the gearbox. Within half a second, will Trent defend like a lion coming out of the final corner? He stays on the racing line for now. And Trividi is late to move over, but makes it through at corner number 1. And back up in P2 for himself. P. Rader, Colin Edwards, Trent H, all within 1.5 seconds of each other. The battle for 3, 4, and 5 still exists. Big gains right now for Trent H, Colin Edwards, big 3. P. Rader started the race in 5th and might end the race in 5th should he not get around Colin Edwards. I believe he has the pace to get by Colin. Does he have the consistency to stay ahead of Edwards? Slight DRS train here between the 3 drivers. Coming through Samsung for the 35th time. Things are looking pretty good for Pete Rader, Colin Edwards, and Trent H in 3, 4, and 5. Waiting for an opportunity to strike. Any one of the drivers could make a slight mishap, a tiny mistake, and send them down the order. Lucas running in 8th place is at a quiet but deadly event so far. 22 seconds nearly behind Twisted Jack, who's on the C4 compound. Again, a slight DRS train for the drivers. Trent H staying within attacking range of Trividi. Out in P2, big surprises there. Also getting the slipstream assistance to stay within striking distance. Just nearly falling out of the 1 second window though currently. Colin Edwards within 0.6 of a second of Trent. Trying to change the order up for P3. Colin Edwards very close to the rear end of Trent H. Coming through corner number 6. Just 7 laps left to go. Cody Lawrence made his way by Twisted Jack just a moment ago. Lap traffic giveth, lap traffic taketh away. Not so here at Slipstream Racing. Back markers and lap traffic doing very well to stay out of the way of the leaders of these events. Again, following the standard F1 rules where you don't have to yield, but you have to stay predictable. And you have 3 corners to give that position up. Pete Rader actually falling back from the trio, battling for P2, 1.4 seconds back from Colin Edwards. That is not going his way currently. Pete Rader even had a 119.9 that last time around, but the guys in front of him, 120.6, 120.0, 120.1. So I think the pace is definitely being picked up a notch or two. Trent falling slightly out of touch with Trividi out in front of him. 1.2 is the gap now. Pete Rader falls back to 2 seconds. Colin Edwards trying to shake and bake things up. The Grey Wolf Racing team 4/10 back from his opponent currently, and looking like he is on the attack with just 5 laps to go. Not quite within striking distance is Colin Edwards to Trent H, but he's setting this one up for a couple of laps to the end to make sure he can go for P3. He needed a 10-second gap to still hold on to this position. I don't think he has the pace to be able to do so. Maybe that playing a factor in Colin Edwards' mind right now. P-Raider falls even further back, 2.3 seconds to the number 23 Jumpman Tar Heels team. Gaining some speed coming out of the final sector. Pete Raider kind of under threat from Ryan Earl currently in P6 even. Again, Colin Edwards not close enough on the attack going into corner number 1. Carries a lot of speed though. Waiting for a mistake, goes the long way around at turn number 4 to force a side-by-side, and DRS applied for Colin Edwards. Gets the move done and dusted pretty easily there after a small mistake from Trent H resulted in some overlap. Ryan Earl within a second of Pete Raider now. Keep an eye on the lap times as they cross it. 121, 122, 121, 119. Ryan Earl on the attack, trying to get back up into P5. Oh no, Ryan Earl with a huge moment coming out of turn number 11 into 12. Pirouettes the car beautifully back onto the racetrack, but unfortunately can't catch back up to Pete Raider in 5th place. Trent H half a second back now from Colin Edwards. Can't attack on lap 42. Now Edwards makes the small mistake coming out of corner number 4. Doesn't allow enough overlap with Trent though. Looks like in the background, Pete Rader made a big mistake through corner number 4, but not big enough for Ryan Earl to catch back up. The gap is still 3.2 seconds there. Half a second between Trent and Edwards. Again, Trent doesn't need to make this move stick. He'll already regain P3 because Edwards has a 10-second time penalty for speeding in pit lane. Covering off the inside line, Colin Edwards goes deep to the pit wall. Trent around the outside, and they touch though, and Edwards into Trent. Pete Rader gains 3rd position, and a slight touch there. Ryan Earl goes up into 4th. Edwards checks up and waits for Trent to get back going again. Relinquishes that position. And a move a little late there on the attack back from Colin Edwards resulted in that contact and loses them both a handful of positions. Cody Lawrence crosses the line in P1 and starts off the championship with a bang. Ananth Trivedi will cross the line in P2, just 37 seconds down off of Cody Lawrence. And Ananth Trivedi runs out of gas as he crosses the line in 2nd place. Holy Toledo. Pete Rader crosses the line in 3rd position with Trent H in 4th position. Ryan Earl in 5th. Colin Edwards in 6th position. Twisted Jack in 7th and Lucas in 8th. Pretty amazing battles up and down the grid as we saw from green to checkered. The drivers are getting comfortable in season 11, not only with the vehicles, but with the tracks and each other. More and more battles sure to come up throughout this season. Make sure you check us out for round 2 at Interlagos coming up on November 10th, folks. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you very much for staying tuned. It's been a pleasure to be your host. I'm Sagar Bakshi, aka The Real High, and this is Slipstream Racing, folks. Make sure you stay tuned for more. Don't forget to like, subscribe, ring the bell, all that good stuff, and we'll see you in 1 week's time. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great night, and as always, make sure you stay safe out there. Bye-bye.